Hi everyone, I'm going to react to Demon Slayer Season 3, Episode 11, Connected Bond, Daybreak, and First Light. Oh, freaking frack. Oh, shoot. I was just looking at, somebody told me to look at the time, and it's like almost an hour. It's like a 2 episodes kind of thing. Trying to see if I have the time to react to all of it. I guess I could react to it and to my comments later. But okay. So last episode we were in the middle of the fight between the Love Hashira and the Dragon Ball Z character. I don't know why I keep referencing him like that. But he just looks like the Dragon Ball Z character to me. I don't know. But yeah, they were in the middle of the fight and then she got hit by this attack and she sort of like blacked out a little bit. And then we saw a little bit of her backstory. And then the others saved her. And then she's like now unleashing her full potential, her full power. Taking care of that demon while the others go after the main body and try to kill it. So that's what happened last episode. And before we get into this one, if you guys have my reaction, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and please consider support on Patreon at patreon.com/feelmini. And now let's start this episode. And here we go. And sorry about the noise in the background. It's like really hot. So, and the AC is not working. So I'm like, I have the fan on. So you guys are going to be hearing that in the background. Sorry about that. So let's start this episode. And here we go. You know, this finale is just, it brought so many emotions out of me. Like in the back of my mind, I knew, well, I can't say I knew 100%, but I'm like, they can't kill off Nezuko, right? Like I was seeing that scene play out. I feel like that was the biggest part of this episode, to me at least, and then a little bit of the backstory of Muzan and everything. But the Nezuko and Tanjiro scenes, that was like a gut punch, and it just made me feel so emotional. Like they fell off the cliff. The demon was running away, trying to get someone to eat. Tanjiro wakes up, gets to Nezuko, and Nezuko still passed out. And he started running after the demon. And the sword that he had, he couldn't do the work. And that's when Moichiro showed up with the sword that Haganeska was working on. And then he gave that sword to Tanjiro. And then Tanjiro went after the demon. And he used the breathing technique to strengthen his legs and, you know, ramped up the speed and went after the demon and just slashed the demon's head off. And you think, okay, he slashed the head off, so that's it, right? That's what he's thinking. That's what I was thinking. And then the sun started coming up, and then he turns around and he was worried about Nezuko, and he started running after Nezuko. And then you see Nezuko just running towards him, and I'm like, there was something wrong with that scene. I could feel something was wrong because Tanjiro was trying to get Nezuko to go into the shade. You know, she's a demon. Being in the sun is not good for her. She's going to burn to death. So he was trying to get her to safety. But then you see her also running towards him. And you would think that her being a demon, she would know that the sun is not good for her. But she kept running toward Tanjiro. And I'm like, why is she running towards him? There's something that's going on. And then you see her reach behind him. And I'm like, what's coming? Is the demon not dead? You know? And then he turns around and then you see the demon running after the villagers. Even with the head cut off, it was still running after the villagers. So Tanjiro figured, after he looked at the head and seeing the sign in the mouth. He said resentment. Yeah, that's what he said. But then the original demon had fear on his tongue, so he knew that that wasn't the right one. So he's like, okay, so the real one must still be alive somewhere. And then, but then the sun is coming up. The sun is up. Nezuko started burning. You would think the demon would burn, but it wasn't burning. Or even if it wasn't that. It was just like a little bit. It was still running after the villagers. So he's like, what am I supposed to do? Nezuko was big. So he was telling her to shrink so that he can at least cover a lot of her body, the most of her body. She shrunk, but it still wasn't enough. And then he's like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Because he sees the demon going after the villagers, excuse me. But then he still has to protect Nezuko. So he's like hoping that someone will help. He looks up, he sees Muichiro. Muichiro is sort of like passed out. He can't really do anything. He sees Genya. Genya was also not going to be able to do anything. And it's like, he's like, I can't make a decision. What am I supposed to do? And then that's when Nezuko pushed him away from her, basically making that decision for him, letting him know that the villagers were more important. And then the montage of everything that they've gone through as brother and sister ever since she turned into a demon, and the music that was playing, that whole thing. Even though in the back of my mind, some told me that the authors can't possibly kill her, right? Like, they cannot do that. Like, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking she's not gonna die. But then I also had this doubt that, okay, is the author gonna kill her off? So it's like all of that, plus the montage, plus the music, like everything was just, you see her burning. I was just like in tears. And Tanjiro had to resolve himself to follow the demon and kill him, because this sacrifice is not going to be for nothing. Like, she was sacrificing herself so that he can save those villagers. And then he went after him and smelled the demon and then cut the demon head off. And then they were going to the bathroom like, I don't care, die. And then he died. And then Tanjiro was just on the floor there and just like crying because Nezuko, in his mind, Nezuko is dead. And I started crying alongside him, because at one point I stopped crying. And then when he started crying, I started crying. And it's like, and then you see the camera, you see someone walking. You don't see the person, you see that person point of view sort of like walking towards Tanjiro. So I'm like, I knew that was Nezuko. But then when they actually showed her and she was okay, and then she started speaking, oh my goodness. The tears, seeing the relief on Tanjiro and my relief and like everything, the music as well. Like these people, man, they made me cry. I'm such a crybaby, and when I'm crying, it's like, when I'm emotional, it's like I don't want to talk. So that's why after everything that happened with them, I was just like sitting here in silence. I believe that was after that they started going to Muzan's backstory, She started speaking, but her speech wasn't, it was sort of like seeing a little kid trying to learn how to speak a little bit. It wasn't, like full sentences and stuff. It was just like fragmented words that she was, speaking. But it was still nice to see her speak, And now, as I saw her just being her beautiful self and speaking, and I'm thinking, okay, what exactly did the sun do for her? I was thinking, okay, is she still a demon? That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay, did the sun burn the demon out of her, and now she's just human? Because Tanjiro mentioned that before she started walking toward him, he was saying that they went on this journey because he wanted to turn her into a human, back into being a human being and everything. So when I saw her like that, I'm like, okay, is she now human? Like, what's going on? And it wasn't until they showed Muzan being excited about having a demon that can withstand the sun, then I'm like, okay, so she's still a demon, And he's like, okay, now I don't need to do this research anymore, trying to find this blue spider lily and wanna. He was so excited. And then when I saw those two people coming in, when I did this, if you guys notice, I did this because I didn't want to talk. At that point, I was still not over everything that I've experienced with Tanjiro and Nezuko. So I didn't want to talk. That's why I did this, because I knew they were going to die, And yes, he killed them. But I thought the reason why everything was in disarray in the room and he was facing away from them, when they come into the room, everything was in disarray and he was toward the books, facing the books. So why not? So I'm like, okay, did something go wrong with him? Is his research, whatever it is that he was trying to do, that was he upset that they killed those upper demons and stuff? But it wasn't that. It was that he was excited that Nezuko is the first demon that was able to withstand the sun, and that now he has a way out of him not being able to be in the sun. So he's like, okay, now I have to have Nezuko, I have to eat her, so that I have to absorb her, so that I can also walk into the sun. And then that's when they went into his backstory. Apparently he was sick. There was this doctor that was treating him, and he thought that whatever this doctor was doing was not working, and then he killed the doctor. And it was only after he killed the doctor that he realized that his medicine was working. He started turning into a demon, and now he craved, eating humans and stuff. Clearly you can tell the guy was already evil since the beginning. Just because you're dying, that doesn't, and people are trying to help you and it's not working or whatever, that doesn't give you the license to kill the person that's trying to help you. That basically tells you that the guy was evil since the beginning. So with him having these demonic powers and whatnot, he's just gonna kill people willy-nilly and stuff. And then he looked at the research of the doctors and he realized that among the things that he was giving him, one of the ingredients, I guess, was the blue spider lily, and he didn't actually know where the spider lily grew or how it was cultivated and all of that. That's what he's been looking for 1,000 years. And apparently he's been making all these demons as well because he was looking for one that could withstand the sun. I think that was the main reason behind him making all these demons, and now he's like, I don't have to do that anymore because one has appeared. So he only needs Nezuko now, and then he can walk into the sun, which is not going to be a good thing. And I don't want to believe that he's going to achieve his goal, that he's going to be able to absorb Nezuko. I don't want to believe that. So yeah. Tanjiro is being praised as the hero that saved the village. And I'm like, when he was in the wagon and everything, and then you see the box that was there, I'm like, wait, is she back in the box? And yeah, she was, because she was tired and she was sleeping. And I'm like, okay, can she not sleep in the sun? Or is it just since she's used to being in the box and having Tanjiro carry her, is that why she's in there? Or will she recover faster if she's in the shadows? Is the fact that she was able to withstand the sun, does that mean that she cannot walk in the sun with no problem? Or is it what am I trying to say? or is it like a short-term thing? Like, yeah, she can walk in the sun for a little bit, but then she still has to go back in the box or something. Like, I don't know. I don't get the significance of her going back into the box. Or if there's even a need to have the box anymore, you know? So, yeah. What else happened? Oh, yeah, I wanted to see something. Because after the demon was running away at first, the little one, after he was running away at first and they couldn't like catch up to him, and you see Tanjiro having this flashback where Zenitsu was talking to him about the breathing technique and breathing into every part of your body and all of that, and that's what helped him breathe into his legs and use the breathing techniques on his legs and speed up after the demon, you know. So after hearing Zenitsu this episode, and then that moment where you hear Muichiro's voice somewhere, you know, and he's looking around. When I heard the voice, I thought it was Zenitsu. I'm like, I was excited to see him because I'm like, we haven't seen Zenitsu or Inosuke do anything during this season. They only showed them during the beginning part of the season where they were telling us that they were going on missions, you know, and stuff. That was the only thing that we saw. And then those after credit, but those little tag at the end there where they were like, why are we not in this episode? We haven't done anything this episode. Those were the only times that we've seen them. So when I saw the flashback, and then I hear the voice and it sounded so similar, and I'm like, okay, is this Zenitsu that's gonna be coming? But then it was Moichiro. So I'm like, okay, are they voiced by the same person? So I wanna check that first. I don't know if they were being voiced by the same person, that's why it sounded similar, or if they were different people. Why are you not working? Okay, not the same person. Kengo Kawanishi is Muichiro's voice actor, and Hiro Shimono is the Zenitsu one. Okay, so I got confused a little bit during those scenes. What else? That moment as well. There was the moment where when Tanjiro was trying to cut off Hantegu's head, you know, and then Hantegu grew and was squeezing Tanjiro, and then what's his name? Genya showed up and he was trying to force his hands open. He still had the demon effects on him, and then Nezuko showed up and then used her fire, you know, and then he also started burning because he still has those demons, you know. He eats demons, so he still has demon stuff in him. So the fire was affecting him as well at one point, and I believe it's only stopped because the effects were gone, you know. So there was that. Trying to see what else happened this episode. Kanoroji was facing the Dragon Ball Z character, and she was about to be in, but then Tanjiro had killed Hantegu, and then that dude also disappeared. So that was cool. And then she reunited with everybody. Everybody was like embracing each other. Haganeska was upset that he didn't actually finish honing. He always said that he honed the sword up to the first level or something or like that. So he wasn't totally finished with it. So I think he's gonna be working on it and then bring the sword to Tanjiro at the butterfly mission. I think that's what he said. So there is that. What else? Muichiro thanked Tanjiro for helping him. You know, I love me, Muichiro. Momo. I remember calling him Momo during the episode. I'm like, I don't even know when anyone did. I just came up with that on the spot. Momo. Either way, I love him. What else happened? Oh yeah, Lady Tamayo also showed up this episode. She wrote a letter to Tanjiro, telling him that the guy that Muzan had turned into a demon at one point when they were in that village in the first season, when they were in the village and they could feel Muzan was like walking among people, and I think Tanjiro was going after him or something, and he just quickly like scratched somebody and turned that person into a demon. He said that that person was okay thanks to Nezuko's blood, and that he can now survive on just like a little bit of blood and stuff. So he's conscious about his actions and everything, and it was thanks to Nezuko. And then she said something about the fact that Nezuko not being able to regain her speech was because that she should have been able to be speaking like a long time ago, but she wasn't doing that because she was saving her strength or something for something else, and she believes that something else is for her to walk in the sun. I think that's what I got from the letter, but then I feel like that letter came too late because we've already seen what happened. So I don't know what I thought she was gonna mean something else. I think she said that there was something more during the letter, that she said there was something more important for her than regaining her speech. And I thought it was, well, that in my mind I'm thinking that it was to protect her brother, conserving her strength in order to protect her brother should the need arise. That's what I was thinking. But apparently, based on what Tamayo said, it was so that she can walk in the sun. So yeah, that was it when it came to her, and I think there wasn't anything else. Yeah, I don't really care about the Hantegu's backstory. At first, in the previous episode, he was saying something that he never lied and or something. Why are they always picking on me? I would never lied. But then during this episode, it seems like he was actually doing bad stuff. He was like he's blaming his hands or something. I'm like, bro, go away. And then he died. So I'm like, good riddance. So yeah, I believe there's only the one demon that whose backstory made me cry, and it was, what was his name? They showed a scene of him. It was the demon that they were facing when Nezuko first activated her fire blood thingy power. Demon art. Oh my goodness. When she first activated her demon art, I believe the demon that they were facing at one point, was it Rui? Was that his name? I think he was the only one that made me cry. The others, I didn't particularly care, unless I'm forgetting somebody. But yeah, this one I don't care at all. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. And if you like this reaction, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. And what am I going to be watching next? Because I was going to go on vacation, I couldn't react to the final episode of Demon Slayer in time. So I reacted to the first episode of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. And I said that I'm not sure if I was going to continue reacting to that. In case I don't, I'm not sure what's going to be replacing this. But either way, whatever's going to be replacing Demon Slayer, my reaction to that episode will be uploaded on my Patreon. So check it out. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye. Look up in the morning before the sun, keep taking the hole to the day dawn. You've got to go and dig those holes.